Rob Grimes with the IFBTA, and I'm very pleased today to have Chris Libier, the Chief Strategy and Marketing Officer of Revel Systems with us, and a global industry partner. So welcome, Chris.
Thanks, Rob. Glad to be here today.
Well, listen, why don't we just sort of start out this way, and maybe you could share a little bit of the history of Revel with us?
Yeah, happy to do so. Revel's a relatively new company in the scheme of things. Been around a little over 10 years, about 11 to be exact. And we started, it's kind of actually a fun little story. A couple of technical entrepreneurs in San Francisco went out to dinner one night and had a pretty poor experience with the technology. And it was the same month that Apple released the iPad. And they said, surely we don't need all this expensive, clunky stuff that doesn't even seem to be working particularly well. We could build this thing in the cloud and with tablets and with more modern technology stack. And so they endeavored to do that. So we're a truly native cloud company and have built a solution to enterprise scale, really kind of with, what at the time was very next generation technology. Now it's more common. But I think we all know why people have been moving in that direction. There's a lot of advantages, lower TCO and easier to use, more flexible, more open. So that's we got that right in our DNA right from the beginning. So,
well, I got to tell you, Chris, I've known Revel for a lot of years, but actually I didn't really know about the dinner and coming out when the iPad came out, because I always wondered why they chose to go with the iOS Apple platform out there. And you actually just put it together. And very coincidentally, I saw a video, I think it was over the weekend, and they were showing clips of the introduction of the iPhone and why the iPhone, which sort of put it all together. So yeah. You actually just told me something that I didn't know, and it gives a lot to the history. But I think there's something that you might have missed in there.
We said, we've got to focus. We got to decide what industry we're going to, be leaders in. And we picked the restaurant industry, and really I'll avoid the enterprise term, but the chain space. It could be smaller chains, lots of media. We have tons of customers from like 50 to 500 sites.
I always call it the multi-unit space.
Yeah, that's
because
good.
Multi-unit can be the independents, the SMBs, the enterprise, the franchisees, right?
Call. That's right. But people who are trying to manage more than, a singular or a couple places kind of independently. So that's that we picked that as our sweet spot, and that's what we're trying to be the best solution provider we can. So
I happen to know, and I don't know that everybody knows, that you actually have a long history in the industry and a lot of experience at looking at these things, including the entrepreneurial experience. And I'm just curious as to what it was that you saw, in joining the Revel team as an entrepreneurial startup to say, hey, this really has some legs here. And what is it that you see in it, both when you joined and today?
Yeah. So pretty easy. And I do have a lot of experience in the industry. I was an executive with Radiant, who built the Aloha product, and I was with NCR even before that. I came out of college and started working for NCR, so I have a long track record of watching the cycles. And what was apparent to me when the Revel opportunity came across my desk was that, we all know the restaurant industry is a very large industry. I believe it's always lagged a little in its use of technology, but that someday there was going to be a wave of necessity to bring more technology to play. I could see that coming. And I could also see that the vast majority of sites, if you think back to 5 years ago, so this is the late teens, had very legacy technology. I mean, literally 80 or 90% of the market was sitting on stuff that was 10 plus years old, server based, very creaky, very hard to extend into more modern, solution sets with technology. And I knew that all had to turn. And I felt Revel had the bones to do that, but, needed some help operationalizing around bringing this modern technology to bear. And we've now seen several.
But unlike the old days, you didn't have to focus on the hardware side. You really were focusing on a new and upcoming platform, even at 5 years old, out of the 11. and also, operating systems. You didn't need to worry about that. So you really were getting in on a platform product that could build on that platform and really focus more on the functions and features that the restaurateurs needed.
That's exactly bingo. Exactly right. Exactly right.
So you see a lot that's out there, and I'm sort of curious because the proliferation of technology, there's so much. And when I talk to suppliers today, we got 150, integrations and things like that. With so much technology out there, what are you actually seeing?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I want to drill on that point for a second. You kind of actually just gave the answer in your question, but here's one of my first, this is my strategy officer hat. I actually believe the pandemic definitely sped up tech. Everybody gets that, right? We all saw it, but that was not a point in time. This industry needs more and more and more tech going forward because labor costs are too high, rent costs are everything. For this industry to survive, it's got to get more efficient. It's akin to me to 60 or 80 years ago in the manufacturing industry. You've got to automate the floor. You can't have, people doing everything. Now you need smart people to do good things. And in this,
did you just imply robotics and automate the floor, or you just mean automate the floor and make it more efficient?
All of that. All of
Okay.
it. Yes, some robotics. Yes, easier. We need to free the people up to be the hospitality people and to cook the food, but everything else should not be done, by humans. Here's a simple one for me, Rob, that drives me crazy today. In all POS systems still today, everybody worries about building all these reports so managers can look at them. No manager should ever look at a report ever again in their life. We should be using, and we're putting this in our solution right now, you should be using AI and stuff to understand the best practices of restaurants and tell them when something's wrong or something's right or something needs to be changed. Nobody should have to pour through reports. That's archaic in a sense. So this industry needs a lot more tech. No one company is going to build it all. Nobody could do that. You'd have to be an expert in too many things, loyalty and marketing and robotics and whatever. So the best thing that you can do right now is you must have a strong platform that runs your transactions as a single source for your data, for your menu, and that allows other things to connect in because you don't know what's next, voice, etc. So that's the key thing in this industry today is that people have got to realize the tech. This was not a pandemic adjustment. It's a permanent part of the industry.
Well, it accelerated it, right? And it allowed people to focus that they needed to put that in place in order to survive. And you were there, but I'm sort of curious, about this. If you go from the SMB, the smaller SMB market up to full scale enterprise, well, that's a huge scale. And I want to make sure that we're clear on this because I agree with you that you need to have integrations and there's going to be more and more technology. At the same time, when you are a entrepreneurial company that is growing 20 units, 50 units, before you make that huge leap, maybe not even franchising out there, within the portfolio and the suite of Revel, do you actually also have most of the key solutions? So if they want a single approach, they can get it.
Yes. And that's a great point. And obviously, let's talk, even though this isn't one of the focus parts of our market, although we do sell through dealers, even to single site guys. Yeah, the single site guy is not going to go pick 7 vendors. So we can also make that very easy, even from Revel, whether we build it all or not, we can bring you a package that's got this new AI thing and that's got this new delivery technology, deliver it all to you through us, buy it all from us, put it all in so you can get the stack. But that doesn't mean we wrote every line of code in there. Or if you're bigger and you best of breed, maybe you already chose your favorite marketing and loyalty program. You never want to go away from it, but you got to re-platform for other.
But you're going to focus on how it actually has to work. And by the way, I don't want to miss that nuance. Of course, you're not going to write every line of code that's there. As a matter of fact, the company was started on not building from every line of code.
That's right.
What it was started is building on a platform that was a stable, secure, platform, and then adding on top of it, where you're taking your expertise is to function more on the usability and the outcome, because you've already said, I don't know that the small to medium guy really wants to hear the word AI anymore, but they certainly want to know how to operate their business. And if that's the tool you're using, so I think that that's maybe the point.
That's right. No, well said. Very well said. Yep. We've got to listen. We have got to make the tech super easy to use. And it's got to help the restaurant do things, more smartly, for, lack of a better single adjective. Yep.
Chris Libier, the Chief Strategy and Marketing Officer of Revel Systems, a global industry partner of the IFBTA. And I just want to thank you for your support and also spending the time with me today, sharing strategy, marketing, vision, and just some chit chat in the industry. So thank you, Chris.
Great. Thanks, Rob. Happy to do it. Have a great day.